For some, the civil rights movement feels like a far-off time, but Wheeling was reminded today of just how little time has passed. Honoring the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Bishop Mark Brennan took to the pulpit, retelling the time he sat in a pew years ago and heard the very Dr. King move the church to action. 7 News reporter Stephanie Gridley joins us live outside of St. Joseph's Cathedral with what the bishop had to say about the message that carries into the current protests. Stephanie.
Catherine, it feels like just years ago that a young 16-year-old Mark Brennan wanted to march in D.C. And then 4 years later, he tells his congregation he would go on to meet the man that we honor today.
4 years later, as a junior in college, I heard Dr. King in person, quoting the prophet Amos, "Let justice roll like water, and righteousness like an everlasting stream."
He had a gift of nailing it.
When you think of the church and civil rights, Dr. King's letter in a Birmingham jail comes to mind. He decries complacency among white clergy. Bishop Brennan took that to heart years ago, believing the do-nothingism has no place where God's work is being done.
When we see injustices, try to remedy them, my very first parish assignment, I was a deacon still, so I went down to southern Maryland, and I found out there had been no black altar boys. We didn't have altar girls yet. But I trained the first black altar boy there, and he was a good kid. So, you do what you can do in your situation. And I think that we have to promote that more and more in the church as well.
Meeting with protesters in Wheeling this summer, Bishop Brennan says the civil rights movement is far from over.
We prayed for peace and racial justice and harmony. We call upon the power of God to change minds and hearts, including our own.
Faith in Jesus Christ should demolish walls.
Found in 1 Corinthians, nothing is greater than love. And the bishop says to love your neighbor is to stand with your neighbor in a non-violent resistance of evil, aka peaceful protesting.
My brothers and sisters, with God's help, we can make Dr. King's tomorrow our today.
Now, the bishop read Dr. King's words today. I have them here and I'm going to read them for you. Quote, "Let us all hope that the dark clouds of racial prejudice will soon pass away and the deep fog of misunderstanding will be lifted from our fear-drenched communities, and in some not too distant tomorrow, the radiant stars of love and brotherhood will shine over our great nation with all their scintillating beauty." Live in Wheeling for 7 News, I'm Stephanie.